We will be looking at odds today. Odds are another way to report probability. A little bit different than probability, very similar. Sometimes odds and probability get mixed up and confused with each other. Pretty easy to convert back from one form to the other, but also important to know the difference between odds and probability. First of all, you guys know that when you do probability, when you do that, what that is it's the number of successes or desired outcomes, if you can understand that better, out of the total number of outcomes. I forgot my C. Okay, out of all the outcomes possible. That's what probability is. The difference between that and odds is odds doesn't take it out of the total number of outcomes, but odds takes it out of this. So when you do odds, you do the number of desired outcomes out of what's left over. And what's left over is if you take out what you want to happen, what's left over is what you don't want to happen. Okay, that's the difference with odds. However, when you report odds, you don't report it as a fraction. What you do is you report it as a colon, and you take this bottom piece right here, and you move it right there, and you put a colon in there. Okay, and that's how odds are reported. You're still going to have to reduce odds. You're still going to have to do all of that, but that's what odds for means. So you count the number of desired outcomes, or the number of successes, against the number of leftovers or failures. Okay, that's odds for. Odds against, I bet you can figure out, is the opposite way. Number of failures to the number of successes. All right, do you have a bag that contains 5 green, 2 yellow, and 3 blue marbles? And you want to find the odds, and I'm going to mix this up for you guys. I'm going to mix it up in your homework. I'm going to mix it up on your test. Sometimes I will ask you to find odds. Sometimes I will ask you to find probability. And I will mix that up, intermix it throughout all your homework and all your tests. So you really have to pay attention to what I'm asking you for. In this case, I'm asking you for odds. And so the number of ways I can draw a green marble, there are 5 marbles that are green. That's what I want to happen. I want to get a green. There are 5 marbles that are green, and then there are 5 marbles that are not green. Okay, so 1 is green, 1 is not green. 5 to 5, and you're going to think of that as a fraction and reduce it, and you're going to say that that's 1 to 1. That's how you read that. 1 to 1. 1 failure for every success. Okay? And then the odds against drawing a yellow. And so there are 8 marbles that are not yellow. There are 2 marbles that are yellow. And I'm going to think of that as a fraction and reduce that to 4 to 1. Okay? In the next one, I'm asking you for probability. All right, so now I'm mixing it up a little bit. Probability, so you're going to report it as a fraction. Again, when you do probability, you need the total number of outcomes on the bottom. So there are 10 total outcomes. And I want to know the chances of getting a blue marble. Well, there are 3 blue marbles out of my 10 possible choices. So 3/10. Again, probability reported as a fraction, odds reported as a ratio. Okay? All right, here I'm looking at rolling a pair of 6-sided die. So what I did is I just listed all your options for you. So you could get a 1 and a 1, a 2 and a 1, a 3 and a 1, da 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 da. The numbers that are up here are just the sum of the die because we're going to need that. So like 1 plus 1 adds up to 2. So I just put those up there just so that we would have that information. Okay? So the first of all, I want to know the odds of rolling an even sum. So those are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12 would be my even sums here. And there are 18 choices. I'm going to scoot this over here. There are 18 choices that have an even sum. And there are 18 choices that do not have an even sum. Again, you're going to think of that as a fraction, which reduces to 1 to 1, which means basically you have a 50-50 shot of getting an even or a not even. Okay? The next one, the odds of not rolling a sum of 7. So the ones that are a sum of 7 obviously are these right here. Okay, so there's 6 of them that are a sum of 7, but I want to know the odds of not rolling a sum of 7. So there are 30 out of my 36 outcomes that do not have a sum of 7, 6 that do, And again, you'll think of that as a fraction, reduce it to 5 to 1. So for every 5 times you draw, you'll have 1 time where your sum is not 7. All right, a pair of 6-sided die are rolled. Find the odds of rolling neither an even sum nor a number greater than 10. So it can't be even and it can't be a sum greater than 10. Can't be even, can't be a sum greater than 10. Well, this is even, so that doesn't count. This is not even and not greater than 10. These are not even and not greater than 10. And these are not even and not greater than 10. And these are not even and not greater than 10. So there are 16 choices that are not even and not greater than 10. The rest of them are either even or greater than 10, so they have to go in the next, the odds against, okay? So 16 choices that are not even and not greater than 10, 20 that are even or less than 10, okay? So 16 to 20 reduces to 4 to 5. All right, moving on. You need to figure out, the state of Florida has a Fantasy 5 drawing 3 times a week. 5 numbers out of 39 are drawn at random. The proceeds from the lottery help to finance the education in the state. What are the odds of winning the Fantasy 5 jackpot? So first of all, you need to figure out how many winning choices there are. So to do that, you need to think you're going to pick 5 numbers out of 39, and I don't know if you know anything about lotteries, but typically the order doesn't matter, like in the Powerball, if they chose the numbers except for the actual Powerball. So in the Powerball you choose 5 numbers and then the Powerball. The Powerball has to be the exact right number. There's only one choice. That has to be the exact right number. The other 5 numbers, as long as you have the same 5 numbers, they can be in different order, but as long as you have the same 5 numbers, you're considered a winner. So like if they drew, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen it on TV, but if they draw the balls out and it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 or whatever, and on your sheet you have 25, 20, 15, 10 in a different order, you're still a winner, okay? The Powerball has to be in the exact spot, but the other 5 numbers can be mixed up. So because they can be mixed up, order doesn't matter. And you can think of this as a situation where you have 39 choices. Order doesn't matter, so you can do combination, and you're going to choose 5. And when you do that, you can stick that into your calculator. You'll have 575,757 total choices, total ways to pick 5 numbers out of 39 at a time. Okay? So now I'm asking you for odds and odds of winning. Well, there's only one winning number out of those 575,757 choices. But when I report odds, I want the number of winners to the number of losers. So there's 575,756 numbers that are not winners. Okay? So that's how you would report that. Let's see. And then down here, what is the probability of losing? Now be careful because I'm asking you for probability. Notice I'm switching that up along the way. Again, there are 575,756 losing numbers out of, when we do probability, we want the total. And so it should look something like this. All right, the odds of winning are 6 to 7. What this means is that for every 6 times you win, there will be 7 times that you lose. Okay? Now I'm asking you to figure out probability. Again, probability has the total number of outcomes on the bottom. So if you win 6 times and you lose 7, there's 13 total outcomes on the bottom. And you will win 6 of those 13 times. Okay? The probability of losing. The probability of losing would be there are 7 times you're going to lose. Again, this is probability, so you want total number of outcomes on the bottom. There will be 7 times you lose for every 13 total outcomes. Okay? And then the odds of losing, so odds again will be, when you do odds, you'll go lose to win. Okay? And you will lose 7 times and win 6. Okay? Now the other way around, when you do probability, it's written as a fraction. The probability of winning, so this is the number of times you're going to win, and this is the total number of outcomes. Okay? So I want to figure out, first of all, the probability of losing. Well, if you're going to win 1 out of 3 times, you will lose 2 out of 3 times. The odds, so be careful because I'm switching back and forth, the odds of losing, well, if you win once out of 3, you will lose 2 times out of 3, and you will still win 1 time out of 3. And then the odds of winning, and the odds of winning then will be 1 to 2. All right, and the last one. The odds of being chosen for jury duty during the year are 1 to 296. If your company has 1,400 employees in it, how many would be likely chosen for jury duty in 1 year? All right, so this means the odds of being chosen. So this means that you're chosen because it's odds. This means that you're not chosen. Okay? I want to know how many people out of 1,400 are going to get chosen for jury duty. The most common mistake I see is that people will do this, 1 in 296. But be careful because 1 in 296 are not your 296 is not the total number of outcomes you have. 296 is the number of people that won't get chosen, okay? So you can't switch the odds to that, but there's one person that will get chosen out of 297 total people. And if this is the total people, then this is the total, needs to be the total people so that you can keep that proportion equal to each other, okay? And then you'll just cross multiply and you'll get 297x equals 1,400. Obviously divide by 297. X is going to be about 4.7 people. We know that you can't have 4.7 people. So when you report this, I would say, I would probably say something like this, 4 or 5. But on a quiz or a test, I want to see this 4.7 as part of your work so that I know you know that it's rounded, but then report it in a way that makes sense. So you're going to have 4 or 5 people chosen. Okay? Something like that. That should do it for this.